Hey guys, welcome in for today's Truth Talks. My name is Marcy Batiste, your ultimate power coach, America's #1 reality-based success and recovery trainer. And Truth Talks is all about real conversations for real people living real life. And so today's conversation is going to be about life lessons. And is it really a life lesson, or is it merely a life exposure? And there is a difference. It's not a lesson unless you learn something from it, is my personal belief. And so I'm going to share with you guys a experience that I had today. One of my aha moments as I was returning from a workout today. And so as you guys come in, feel free to join people or invite some other people in, share the video out. Truth Talks is about, like I said, real conversations for real people living real life. And today, so to bring you guys up to speed, for those of you who may not be following me or who follow me on other platforms like YouTube or LinkedIn, today I had a training session earlier in the morning. And usually when I exercise, I try and work out before noon. And so today, due to my schedule, I didn't get that in. Not because I didn't have time. I didn't prioritize my workout properly. Let me be honest about that. So part of Truth Talks is always being honest, staying in touch with reality, staying in relationship with reality. So I didn't prioritize my workout properly. And as a result, after my training was completed, I realized, shoot, you got stuff to do all afternoon. You got to get this in ASAP. And so I had a conversation about changing up my workouts and so forth with another friend of mine earlier in the week or last week, whatever. And so I thought, today would be a great day to take my friend's advice and change up my workout. So his thing was, your body's getting used to your workouts how they are. You got to change it up. You got to do things different. And I always say, if you want different, you got to do different. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do different today. So I decide, now mind you, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. It was 100 in hell today. It's gonna be 100 in hell between now until October probably. And so it's about, at this point, probably, it must have been around 1:30, probably about 1:30 in the afternoon. So heat of the day, sun fully blazing. So pull up my water bottle, throw my workout gear on, go online to do my fat chat. I'm all excited, I'm motivated. I'm just like, yes, if you want something different, you got to do different. How bad do you want it? You got to go all in. I'm sold out to this. Let's do this. Let's crush this. So I walked 2 miles. Swear I almost died when I got home. Like, I was sweating internally. That's how much sweating I was doing. And I was just like, this was really a stupid idea. And then I realized it wasn't the idea itself to change up my workout wasn't stupid, but I didn't manage the process right. And so I always believe when bad things happen, mistakes happen, it's only a life lesson if you learn something from it. Otherwise, it's merely a life exposure, something you've been exposed to, an experience that you've been exposed to. And so I always want to convert these types of things into lessons. So if it's a life lesson, how can I take this, learn from it, and avoid making the same mistake again in the future? So here's my life lessons. Now you guys are caught up. Here's my life lessons from today's life experience. Number one, it wasn't that my idea itself was stupid. I had a good idea. I had a good idea to change up my workout, to go for a walk, confuse my body a little bit, confuse my metabolism a little bit, and then even to stretch it by, conditioning in the heat. And so that wasn't a stupid idea, but I went into it without a plan. And if anything I've learned over the years is that it takes a plan. Piss poor planning equals piss poor performance that turned into piss poor results. So I didn't have a plan. Here's the second thing I learned. I learned that being excited about something can make you, what's the word I'm looking for? Overly confident. So I'm thinking, okay, I've been back in my groove for a while, and now I'm thinking back to the height of my peak fitness level in like 2013, 2014, so 4 years ago. Never mind the fact that I've just been slacking for like the last year. So thinking back, peak fitness levels, how hard can I go? And so I just dive right in. Again, no plan. And so it made me overconfident because I went into it without a plan. And so I was excited, and I was just like, yeah, let me just jump in. Don't have a plan. That's okay. I'm going to crush this. It didn't work out that way. I mean, yes, I got the workout in. Yes, I feel good that I accomplished it. But what that did was, because I had done that, then when I got back home, and then it took me like literally a half hour, 40 minutes just to cool off so I could take a shower. Then I got to take a shower. I got to do all that stuff again. And so what I ended up doing was wasting a lot of time unnecessarily, which if I had had the proper planning going into this little adventure, could have been avoided, because I would have known, okay, this is what we're going to do. You haven't done this before. And so we need to go into this with a strategy. So maybe today we're going to walk 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll build on that. So we'll just incorporate this kind of conditioning into the regular workout routine, instead of just like deep dive, jump off the cliff, 2 miles, 109 degrees. I don't know what I still don't know what the temperature was, but it was hot. So those are a couple life lessons. Your ideas aren't necessarily stupid, but you have to have a plan. So I learned that about myself. I learned that my peak fitness, I'm not at my peak fitness level, which I already knew, but it caused me to get in touch with that real fast. And then I had even got super ambitious at one point and decided I wanted to run, like jog, not run, but like jog a little bit. It was just, yeah, my excitement caused me to be overly ambitious, and lack of planning allowed me to continue on the wrong path. Now I'm to the point where I don't ever want to do that again, versus going into it with a plan and being strategic about it and mapping that out. And I share all that with you guys to say that a lot of times we do this in life. We do this with relationships, where we get so excited and we want to just go all in, and we're like, yes, she's the one, he's the one, this is for me, I'm all in, I'm sold out. And we don't take the time to think about it in the big picture. How does this affect everything? So like for me today with my walk, how did that affect everything? It put everything else for the rest of the afternoon behind schedule for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, because I had to catch up. I needed to breathe. I needed to stop sweating in internally. I needed to shower, all that kind of stuff. I still don't have makeup on. So it put everything behind schedule. And we do that with relationships, where we jump all into something. We do it with new businesses. I know like my entrepreneurs get this. You get so excited about this new idea, and you just want to just jump in and try it. Like, let me just try this out. Let me see if this works. And not realizing and not paying attention, because you go into it out of excitement, not out of strategy, that you are then postponing some other things that you already had on deck for yourself to do, or plans that you had, directions you already had for your business, which had you taken the step back to not operate out of emotion and out of excitement, but to truly develop a strategy, you would have had a different result. So that's what I'm encouraging everybody to do today. Like like, you have to be honest about where you are with a lot of stuff. When you go into anything, you have to be honest about it. I wasn't honest about my fitness level. Wasn't honest about, like, I don't even know that I was that serious about it. I was just excited. Walking in the heat is really an overrated freaking experience. I don't recommend it to anybody. And so then I posted a picture on Facebook about I think it was like the before and the after. Like, you think you're gonna crush your goals, but then your goals crush you. And that happens. It happens. But as long as I have a takeaway from it, then all's not lost. It becomes a life lesson. This was a life lesson experience for me. It was an awakening and a wake-up call for me in a number of different areas. Number one, just a reminder about my hydration, things like that. What I'm really capable of. Yeah, I survived it. Barely. Just barely. But is that how I want to live my life? Just surviving? And we do that with relationships too. Like, okay, well, I'm in it now and he's not that bad or she's not that bad. But you're not happy. You're miserable. And so then you have to come up with a strategy. But first of all, you have to own where you are in the process. You have to own what is that connection to this person, to this thing, to this place, to this, whatever that connection is. You have to be able to put an identifier on it. If you can't identify it, you can't change it, you can't heal it, you can't correct it, nothing, because you're flailing around out there without a strategy, without a process. Change requires processes. It requires strategies. It requires, I think about like computer programmers when they go to install. I used to be a banker, and we would update things in the bank, and there was a very, very detailed strategy of how everything was going to happen, how you were going to get to that point. They called it an implementation matrix. And so many times we skip the implementation matrix on relationships. You meet them, you get excited, and if the what's good, then like that kind of ends up playing into it a little bit too. And so now you just really super distracted from what really matters. And you realize that had you had your implementation strategy for dating, implementation strategy for being in a relationship, had you have the clarity about what you want, what's important to you, what are your pain points, what will you tolerate, how much of a relationship you want in a space of toleration. Because personally, I don't want to tolerate a relationship. I want to be happy. I'm sold out to my happiness. So keeping in mind that implementation matrix, and keeping in mind and being really, really honest about where are you in this process. And like I said, I don't care if it's about fitness, working out. I don't care if it's about your finances, you're saving the money, you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to sell a house, you're trying to whatever, trying to buy a car. It could be your family situations. Maybe there's relationships that are kind of rocky in your family, and it's important to you to either rectify them or reduce the contact with the people. Like, what is the process? How does this work? What is it going to look like? What steps do I have to take? What is it going to create? If I do this, then what happens? If I do that, then what happens? There's an app that you can use for, it's like social media management app and things like that, but it's called If This Then That, IFTTT, If This Then That. And it's you can use it for like lead gen and things like that, to manage like email lists and stuff, right? So if a person clicks on this, then this happens. If they click on this answer, then that happens. If they don't click on anything, then this happens. So if this, then that. But we don't think like that in terms of our life. We don't think like that in terms of our relationships. We don't think about that in terms of our happiness. We don't think about that in terms of anything else. Why not? Why not? Like, if it's not a life lesson, if you're not learning something from it, it was merely exposure, just something you were exposed to. It either affected you or it didn't, But if you didn't learn something from it, either about yourself or how to move forward, how to avoid it in the future, it was merely an exposure. You can't chalk it up to a life lesson. Lessons take time to learn. But if you don't even know that you got to look for the lesson, then you just out there living, experiencing stuff, letting stuff happen. I mean, that's how life just happens to us. Instead of us going out and creating experiences, like one of the things I always say, experience life unedited. That means live your life to make you happy. Do the things, but in order to do that, you have to know what those things are. So you have to learn the lessons before you can create the implementation matrix, right? All of that stuff goes together. So I wanted to share that message. I wanted to share with you what my life lesson was from my fitness debacle today, and how that plays into and how that is associated to how we oftentimes live life, build relationships, and manage our businesses. So that's my word for today on today's Truth Talks, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with another Truth Talk. All right, have a great night, guys. Take care, and thanks for, as always, being part of the Ultimate Power team.